if you have access to that. Mm-hmm. All right. No, it's live right now. Actually, I sent you the link, Matt. On I sent it on. Yeah, send it on Discord. Trying to make sure everybody can hear y'all talking. And we're still missing Ray Shields. Okay. Yeah. ETC.
It's not like you can the generals like try and do matchups. Like I pick one person, then you pick another person or anything. I never been, so I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's exactly. It's a team event, very similar. Yeah, style.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, and he's been there. He's seen it in action.
Well, apparently Andy's. I mean, he's just telling me that he was on like the Pro Magic tour for like years, just like.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I did that for about 4 years.
Oh, awesome, man. That's crazy. Yeah, that's hardcore too, man. That's insane.
I was about to say, is there any game system where you haven't just started immediately going pro with?
It's a natural.
Any of them that I did while I was doing something else.
Okay.
So if I didn't focus on that one thing, I was pretty bad at it.
Okay. I mean, I
Any,
can feel
any,
that at least.
yes, any excuses?
Let's see here. I'm just getting all the other tabs put together.
Yeah, if you ask Kyle Poole, I'm still terrible at this game too. So.
Oh yeah. It's all right, dude. I was good like 6 years ago. You know that counts for something, right?
Hey, once a master, always a master, right?
That's right. That's right. I tell myself to you.
There it is. Okay, so I got the map put up too. All right,
I
cool.
just got information from Ray. I'm getting him added.
Okay, cool. And I don't know, I'm not on the YouTube channel to see if anybody else has joined yet, but I did put it on the GT pages. So
Okay. Did you put it in the Mail Atlantic page too?
yeah, I mean I can. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I recommend it. Yeah, I'll put it if you give me a link.
Yeah. There we go. Oh man, look at that guy with a big head.
There we go. I'm getting right here now.
There we are. Boom.
Hello.
There he
Hey,
is.
Mr. Sheep.
What's up, Ray?
I was busy reviewing the list and trying to figure out how to get in.
Yeah, I do really appreciate all you gentlemen for taking the effort because I know it was a little slapstick on my account, unfortunately. Like I said, Andy came to save the day when it came to the stream because I am not technology savvy when it comes to that. Give me a Game Boy Advance and we'll be set.
Yeah, so, and it's changed since the last time I did it.
Well, if you guys need a video thing, I have one. I have a subscription for what we use, so feel free to message me and we can get something done next time.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. So, is everybody ready to have some fun and hopefully have a drink in hand? And hey, there we go.
Priorities.
Oh, I understand.
And Patrick's using undead.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually have a pretty good spread. We have over half the armies present in there, so I was actually quite shocked. There isn't that too many duplicates. We only have like one actual dwarf player, surprisingly. But here, let's start off and look at round one. So for those who are joining us, I don't know who that is because I'm not on the YouTube channel. But I also don't know. I'm assuming, Andy, this might be recorded for post consumption.
Yeah, it'll be on my YouTube channel afterwards.
Sweet. And am I still sharing that tab? I can't tell.
You're not. I've
Okay.
got homegrown wargaming in here that I can see. Hello. I've got Ryan and Gherkin Khan.
All right. So we'll do the first round matchup. In fact, actually, I can just do the map because that would be easiest. So there we go. That is the map that will be played first round. We are. I'm gonna make sure I'm not. Yeah, and so it'll be a 7 objective pillage to start. The reason that I always choose, I shouldn't say always, in case you guys actually come down next year, but normally lean towards pillage. Although compass points was a close second, is because the scoring system is unusual. Being progressive isn't something that is vastly popular currently, although currently. So I use that to kind of get players used to the scoring system. I find that pillage just being the first mission. That's that. But let's see here. So if I actually have a list pulled up.
Do you want to tell me who the first two people are, and I'll pull up one of them?
Oh, perfect. So yeah, we have Jim Smith versus Ben Bowers. And in this particular event, I have a team award, and not everyone was on teams. So if you weren't on a team, I automatically assigned you one. And if you didn't give me a team name when I asked you to, I made a team name for you. So Jim is on the Wild Kids with 2 Ds with the C. So we have Jeremy and his wife Alicia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because I definitely spelled it wrong when I first messaged her. But I think I got the last name right at least. And versus Ben Bowers, who actually is the gentleman that is printing all of the trophies for this event. So Ben, I appreciate you.
Well, I have Ben's list up.
Sweet.
I have James' list. You get that. Next.
Ben's bringing ogres. He is bringing lots of ogres. He is bringing 6 regiments of boomers. So all with the boomstick for 12-inch piercing 1. 2 hordes of boomers. So I could quickly do the math of 6 times 9 being 54 plus 36 is 90 shots right there. Red Goblin Scouts. The Boomer Chariots, because I'm sensing a theme. 2 Giants, a Sergeant with the Paymaster, so he can give Rally 1 to all the Boomers. And then Nom. 14 drops, 26 unit strength, and a whole metric ton of close range shooting.
All right. I think he brought that list to Peachtree GT. I don't know how he did on that one, but it's definitely a lot of shots.
Yeah, it's very interesting, very unique.
Did you say that you had? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I have Jim who's playing dwarves, very near and dear to my heart. He's got 2 regiments of Iron Guard with throwing mastiffs. He's got 2 regiments of shield breakers. Interestingly, not part of the formation, so separate. 2 Iron Belcher organ guns, Steel Behemoth, that's upgraded to Gaulick's Fury, Battle Driller, Stone Priest with Radiance of Life, Bane Chant, and Periscope. He's got 2 Lords on Large Beast, and then he's got the Formation. So basically gives him 4 total regiments of Bulwarkers, the Horde of Ironclad with Brew of Strength, and then the Army Standard Bearer with Sacred Horn for the increased aura range. Pretty cool list. I mean, I think it's a lot of infantry. It's got 15 drops, 28 unit strength, and a decent amount of shooting too with the organ guns. You don't see those as much anymore. They can definitely threaten like zone control pretty well, especially in this matchup.
Well, now that they've added unit strength to them too, I find that to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree. For 90 points, it's not bad, right? It's not a bad unit to like really hold a point, and especially in pillage, right? Like if you're gonna want a scenario, you're gonna want pillage for this dwarf list where you can, put a point or 2 in your deployment zone and probably grab them without having to move an inch. This ogre list really wants to be mobile, right? It's like you can't really sit back anymore. So that's something that pillage is not probably a scenario that you want to see, depending on how your opponent sets up the tokens.
Yeah. So what say you, gentlemen? My vote definitely is for Jim, only because I think that defense 6, depending upon how he deploys, like if he manages to zone out some decent portions of the board, he could definitely work that to his advantage.
I'm going to go with Ben because he's printing the awards. And I don't often think that the 12-inch shooting, 18-inch threat range from the boomers is enough, but against dwarfs, you could probably get 2 rounds of shooting with the 12 inches that they can't really respond to. But you're going to take punishment in return because he's all defense 4 with his boomers. So this will be a very bloody game, is my thought. But Alex is the master and can tell us.
I mean, I don't know about master, but I think the problem with this is that the dogs basically hit as hard as boomers do, right, for like a turn. Yeah. So like, and the defense 4. So there's a lot of punishment that's going to be received. Like it's going to be, like Ray said, very bloody, and kind of whatever's left over is going to be cleanup. I think that a lot of the games are going to come down to if the Giants with Slayer are able to connect on like kind of high value targets, right? Like the King's Large Beast, Gullock's Fury. Like if the Giants get into those targets and kill them, then that's definitely going to be big trouble for the Dwarves. So I think that the game's going to be depending on how effective those guys get to line up against what they want. I'll give the edge to Dwarves, so I'll say give it to Jim.
All right, edge to Dwarves. Got it. Andy, do you have an opinion on this particular one?
I think they pretty much hit the high points here. With the dwarf short charging range, the ogres are going to be able to shoot a lot more than they normally would before they're engaged on. But I don't think it's going to matter. And just in the end, I think the throwing mastiffs are going to throw them off just enough. Between those and the 2 organ guns, and then the dwarf lord as well, beast. I think they'll be able to tie up the shooting, and once the boomers are in combat, I think the game's over at that point.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like 3 for dwarves and 1 for ogres.
I have faith, Ben.
All right. So next round we have Jeremy Kidd versus Noah Hutton, our own Noah, coming down from the Mid-Atlantic. So again, we have the Wild Kids. Noah is on a team formed with 3 other players that need a team, so I figured I'd name them the 3 Musketeers. I know it's extremely original. And if you want, I have Noah's list if someone wants to pull up Jeremy's.
I'll do Jeremy's.
All right. Which one are we reading off first?
Oh, I get to Noah. I got it here. So he's using Rack and Slaves again. Noah's pretty famous for that, and I'm sure he's probably gonna end up qualifying or winning the Best Army Award for Mid-Atlantic for Rack and Slaves, given that this is the start of the event and no one else is going to be running them in any other time. But he has 2 hordes of wretches with the last breath. Since he's using Wreck and Slaves, he actually gets to use a unit horde of decimators with Blessing of the Gods. So elite and vicious shooting. Um, 2 hordes of slave nightmares, also with their. I mean, I guess they come equipped with blight cannons. I'm assuming. Um, 3 Catachan rocket launchers, which is the best war machine in my opinion. Not that I ran 3 of them at Vanguard. An Ironcaster with the EJ Periscope and Mindfog 3, Alchemist Cursed 4, Golix Skin Flare, the special character, Chariot, right? Or is it just the hero? Oh, yeah, Chariot, here you go. The special character, Cries' Gore Impaler, Chariot, and then the formation. So it has the slave warriors, lowest of the low, so a horde of them, 2 regiments, and then Taskmaster on chariot. And correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, all 3 of those chariots have some sort of special rule that like they can either charge through their own units or like continue combats and stuff like that. Like it's pretty tricksy at times.
Yeah, it's a pain to keep track of.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
decent amount of shooting and some interesting special rules.
yeah. There's no one knows the rules. It's like the big advantage you have, right? Because no one who the hell plays Rack and Slaves, right? So you got that going for you, right? That. So like you're just gonna use rules. You're supposed to like, what the hell? You can blow up units when you want. And you can do all this other stuff. Like that's cool, I guess. Like what the fuck does that mean, right? Like definitely breaks a lot of the kind of core rules I think that you usually have in Kings of War. I have Jerry's Means list here, which I'll read out real quick here. He's got a lot of 2 of things here. So he's got 2 regiments of Void Touch Mutants, 2 hordes of Impalers, 2 regiments of Void Skiffs, Bound Tear, Gore Drake, 2 Summoner Crones with weakness, and I think both mounted. Yep, both mounted as well. So Lathiel and Mikhail. So he's got all a bunch of named characters. 12 drops and 21 units around. Pretty elite list as far as Twilight King goes. Going to have the standard Impalers and Void Skiffs combo. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the matchups. I just kind of finished reading it. Yeah, I think one of the things, I think this list is a little too elite. It doesn't want to see things like Rack and Slays, which can kind of blow up and just do a ton of damage, right? And on top of that, like the list isn't particularly hitty from the Twilight Kin, so like you can't like normally if you have the wretches, you want to kind of kill them with 1 unit and minimize the damage you can take to your unit, and this Twilight Kin list kind of struggles to do that a little bit, I think. So I think based on kind of that matchup alone, I give the edge to Noah's Rack and Slave. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty unique list. It's got a lot of shooting too. Granted, maybe they can probably absorb some of the shots and stuff, but yeah, I think I'm gonna give the edge to Noah here, just based on kind of the fragility of this Twilight Kin list.
Awesome. I'm slowly trying to keep track of the scores. I'll also give the edge to Noah too, mainly because he's coming all the way from way up north to come down there. Although Jeremy technically is coming from Georgia, I believe it's Georgia. Jeremy, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I could always appreciate an army I've never seen before. How about you, Ray?
I think I'm going to go with Noah because of the scenario. I think if it was something like Invade or a different scenario which would require the Twilight Kin to come up and to force Noah into a corner, as much as he doesn't have a lot of power in terms of raw number of attacks, he has enough. But the Mutants put out a huge ton of attacks, but he doesn't want to be spread out. And I think with Pillage being spread out, that's not what the Twilight Kin want, and that will be their bane of their existence, because it's a very elite list with 3 characters, so only 9 scoring units at the end of the day.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. How are you feeling about it, Andy?
I think I'm going to give the edge to Noah myself. He's got a lot of units that he wants to get punched in the face. And I think the mutants and impalers are like the only hit units that Twilight can have in this list, and mutants normally are traded. So once they hit something, they're either going to get wavered indefinitely until they're destroyed after that, or they're just destroyed immediately. And also having almost double the unit drops, I think we're going to be at, I don't know. I think wrapping the impalers is going to be easy, so the defense 6 isn't going to be as much of an issue.
I can see that. That's a clean sweep. That's the first one. All right. Well, we're expecting big things out of you, buddy. All right. So on table 3, we have Alicia Kidd and Larry Essex. So this was actually one of the challenges. I wasn't there again. This was like something from Peachtree, but apparently there was some sort of insults being slung or some sort of what if scenarios going down. So Larry challenged Alicia. So you have the Wild Kids versus D6 Mafia.
So I have Alicia's Basilian list brought up. 2 men-at-arm spearman hordes, 1 with brew of sharpness, 1 with hammer of measured force, sisterhood infantry, blessing of the gods. With rampage 10, that means they put out 40 attacks. Paladin foot guard regiment, Alohi regiment, knights, Phoenix, Dictator, and the mother of all phoenixes, Julius, and a dragon. So 11 drops, 24 unit strength. Another elite list with some big, chunky units to provide support.
Well, not bad. I have Larry's list unless someone wants to read it. It's up to y'all.
Go for it.
Larry.
All right. So Larry also is the only one with a PDF editor, apparently. So he is taking Nabi. I kind of tried to make all of the cryptids fairly unique and roughly equaling anywhere from 140 to 175 points. So he has Nabi, kind of like the big thing Slayer. But the cool thing about this, and I don't know if that was explained to y'all, these are technically all local wildlife legends in Carolina that each one of the cryptids are based on. But so Larry has gargoyles, a troop of them, 3 hordes of berserkers. So the new hotness. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that podcast. Interestingly enough, that 4 regiments of tortured souls and a horde of tortured souls. So Larry is really not pulling any punches here. Of Seductress, of course. Oh, Boots of Levitation. Interesting. Alchemist Curse and Ho Shadow Beast. That is an interesting combination. Yeah. Boots of Levitation. So okay. So kind of like the old Alchemist Curse mage going on. I got it. Huh. Berserker Apostate, Zazuzu the Betrayer, and a Manifestation of Baal. So, it's actually an interesting list. Got a lot of melee and got a little tricksy with some of the spellcasting.
Yeah, the Seductress is cool. I mean, having the old school Fly 20, Alchemist Curse anywhere on the board is cool, but I don't know if I want to pay 220 points for it. That's a lot of points on a character. So I mean, like, yeah, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Seductress probably one of the best individuals in the game right now. I think no one's really disputing that, but that's an interesting setup here. I'm not sure how much value it's going to get. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think think look at the Basilius. I don't think the Basilius has any way to really punish it. Maybe the Phoenixes can get in some shots there, maybe, but not really. And she's stealthy, so yeah, I think that I see that as expensive that piece is. I see that being a big problem point. I mean, Berserkers are obviously fantastic. Granted, they don't have any items really, so they're kind of bare bones, and there's no formation. There's no. I mean, I guess they have the Poste for a little bit of support, but yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to like how efficiently the Berserkers can get supported. I think it's going to really come down to some of the key charges in this game. I'll let someone else kind of give their prediction first, but yeah, I think it would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the average defense in his army is 4, and like the fact that, I mean, Alicia doesn't have a ton of range, but she technically does outrange all those units with just a few of her flyers. So I'm gonna say it's pretty close. The only reason that I'm gonna go with Larry is just because I've played Larry before, and he has played in Cryptid before. So if you're not familiar with the scoring system, it can throw people, especially for the very first mission. So I think that alone will give him a slight edge in how this plays out. So my vote is with Larry for that particular purpose.
I'm going to go with Alicia. The Abyssal Berserkers are lacking both items, and they don't have the Sacred Imp. So as much as she doesn't have a lot of shooting, she has Fireball 16, 10 shots from the Phoenix, and Dragon's Breath for 10 from the Dragon. So she's sitting at roughly 36 shots, 18 hits, 9-10 wounds. You're getting to the point where you can actually waver a Abyssal Berserker horde with that amount of shooting. So she has to be careful with it. She has to use the range advantage that she has with her movement 10 items to clog up the field. But she does have those advantages, and used wisely, has the chance to pull a win. And Larry's just begun with Forces of Abyss. If he was running the army he ran at Vanguard, I'd have more faith, but jumping on the bandwagon doesn't normally work.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. I think the list is interesting as far as the Forces of the Abyss list goes, but I don't like the hordes of berserkers with tormented souls as backup. I just don't think they fit well together. And I think the Defense 4 army, while most of it is fearless, the stuff that's important is not, and the amount of shooting that the Basilians can get in, and then they could take the punch from the Tormented Souls and the Berserkers if they have to, and the counter is just going to be that much worse for Larry. So I'm going to have to give it to the Basilians here. Sorry, Larry. I love you, but.
What are you thinking, Alex?
Yeah, I think Joe was the same way. I think give the advantage to Alicia. Main thing I see is like there's enough speed 10 threats that are a problem for berserkers. Because they don't have items, these berserkers can't really one shot any of those speed 10 threats. So basically, like if the speed 10 goes in first, you kind of have 2 rounds to kill a unit, and as long as it's like spread out and isolated enough, I think it works. And I agree with Andy. Like Torture Souls are a little awkward. Like you never want to scream something that's like slower than the unit behind it, right? It's kind of like puts you in that weird position of like, how do you do it that well? Maybe Larry's figured it out and he's got some kind of new innovation, and that'd be awesome. I also played Larry with Abyssals in Vanguard, and I don't know if partially responsible for this change, but good luck, Larry.
All your fault, Alex. All yours.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I hope you are.
All right, so we got 3 for Alicia, 1 for Larry. That'd be an interesting challenge. Let's see. So the next table we have George O'Connell versus CJ Rice. George's team name was submitted by one Nathan Clevenger, Sid Meier's Kings of War, and CJ did submit the team name Snacrifice. So I have CJ's if someone wanted to read George's.
I have George's because it's a list that seems to be copying the bandwagon as well. 4 regiments of Abyssal Berserkers, 2 hordes, 1 with sharpness, 1 with strength, Hellhounds with Drunken Ram, which is actually a really good combination. Seductress with Knowledgeable and Hoshabi's 3, because that seems to be the default setting. Berserker Apostate with Loot, which is interesting. The Betrayer, and then the formation, one of the regiments has the Boots of Striding, and the Nagari has the Sacred Horn. So 13 drops, 25 unit strength. A very heavy Berserker list.
All right. CJ is running Halflings. His list is called the Wacky Racers, which is kind of fitting his theme here. So he has 2 regiments of poachers, and I mean they're not the Northern Alliance trackers, but they're pretty good. He has 4 hordes of juggers, 1 with the Brew of Strength, 2 troops of Wild Lancers, a muster captain on a miniature Aerolus? Aerolus, there we go. I can speak words. With a sure-footed upgrade, so he's giving Pathfinder or Strider to all of the cav units, and a known glass shield. And then he has a regular muster captain, again with the upgrade for sure-footed captain, and not 1, not 2, but 3 sorcerers. I don't even know what you would do with all of them. There could only be so much rally to go around. And then a Feastmaster, I'm guessing just to have a little assassination character. 14 units, 22 unit strength. So, interestingly enough, or I should say sadly enough, 1 inch short of those Abyssal Berserkers. So, yeah, just reading that off, I sadly will have to probably go with George there because he'll be able to pick those charges whichever way he wants to do them.
One advantage I'll give to the halflings is being able to play in the terrain a lot better. Terrain historically is kind of a problem for these berserker lists, just because they hit on 4s normally, so going to 5s kind of sucks. So if the halflings are able to set up like charges where you don't get double charged, then you kind of use terrain to your advantage. You can hold surprisingly well with some of these units. I mean, granted, you still don't want to get charged, right? It kind of sucks, but that's kind of the way I see this, like the half. I do think having the back foot, but I think like the map there you showed is pretty terrain heavy. You got 2 very prominent forests there, like kind of dictating those zones. So if I were them, I'd look to kind of play pillage in a way that they can, spread the force the Abyssals to kind of fight around that terrain where they don't want to get there, and maybe they can't get in as many units as they want. But yeah, I'll give it the halflings for that reason alone. Why not? Good luck. It's a tough list to fight against.
All right. How you feeling, Ray?
So, Gastromancy can provide Aura Wild Charge plus N.
Oh.
So, as much as your speed 8, their speed 9, if you get Wild Charge plus 2 plus 3, all of a sudden your speed 8 is no longer speed 8. It could feasibly become speed 9 or speed 9.5. And with that being an aura, you just need to get that one turn where George will be pushing in, playing with the I can charge you, you can't charge me distance. But it becomes a lot more dicey. So, the Wacky Racers have more shooting. If they're in cover, like Alex was saying, they get charged by a unit of Abyssal Berserkers. You're looking at 10 hits, 5 wounds against the defense 5 unit. That doesn't, even 2 of those don't do anything against a horde at 20-22. And then you get hit back. Plus the fact that you have the halfling hot pots. So there's actually a lot of play in the halflings, and for anyone who listens to this, I have bought a halfling army to follow up on my Forces of Abyss. So I will talk about all the devious and evil things you can do with halflings. So I don't think this is as set and dry just because of the speed 9 versus speed 8. I honestly don't know. I'm going to go with George just to be contrarian despite all that, but I sincerely believe that between the extra shooting, the wild charge, that the halflings, coin flip as to who could win.
Well, that's fair. Now, are you guys going to have a new halfling episode? Because you already did your review for it, right?
Yes, but I will do a halfling episode after I build an army and figure out what I want it to look like. I would not run 4 hordes of cavalry juggers, but that's me. I'm looking forward to seeing the results and seeing how this works, because that is a metric ton of cavalry.
Yeah, I feel it. How about you, Andy?
I don't know. I am in a toss up here. I really like how the halflings are going to pair up in this matchup. That being said, George spanked me pretty hard when I went up there and played Carolina Cryptid because of the way he played the scoring system. Um, Again, that being said, I think the hordes of juggers are very well poised against the berserkers. It's going to be very hard to not get double charged with that much frontage, but I think if he plays the terrain correctly, then two hordes of berserkers don't kill a horde of cavalry if they're hindered. It's just on math. Um, and the I completely agree about the sorcerers giving the wild charge, um, and even just a little bit of shooting with George's army being defense 4. Um, any amount of shooting is going to hurt. I know they regenerate, but I've been playing them here lately, and regeneration 5+ is not always what it's cracked up to be. um, so I'm gonna have to give this to the halflings.
All right. That's our first tied game. So we got 2 for George and 2 for CJ. All right, gentlemen. So the next one we have Pat Allen versus Russ, and I'm gonna say Levi just because it's the genes. I've never met Russ and his son. That I've spoken to them via email. So they're 2. I don't want to say newer players because they have been playing for a while, but new to the Carolina scene when it comes to like us. Um, I have met Pat quite a few times. He's a great guy, very very nice. But again, so we Russ was the one that came up with a team name Worchestrated Chaos. I'm hoping I'm doing that one right. My English is not always the best. I blame my broken English parents. And then Pat was on the Musketeers. And if someone wants to pull Pat's list up, I would greatly appreciate it.
I have Pat's list up. 4 regiments of Morax, a Axe Legion with Sir Jesse's Boots of Striding, a Great Axe Horde, Fight Dragon Regiment, 3 War Drums with Dread, a Crusher with Loot of Darkness, surprises me, a God Speaker with all the trimmings, Conjurer's Staff, Knowledgeable, Drain Life 4, Blood Boil, Alchemist Curse, and a Crudgeon Wing Slasher. I haven't played against Patrick in a long time, but this looks like a list that I would take if I was going out and wanting to have fun, because that's why you play orcs. So I'm going to bet on Patrick. Doesn't even matter what the other list is or how it looks. You're taking orcs. I'm betting on you because orcs will win.
Well,
you're in a win-win.
You are 100% right, Ray. I didn't even mean to do like I put all these in the random generator, by the way, for all the matchups. So if anyone thinks I did this on purpose, I didn't even think about this because Russ is also running orcs, and it is an interesting list. Not not exactly the same at all. We have 1, 2, 5 regiments of axe. One with the orb and one with Han's sanguinary scripture. a Horde of Trolls, which you don't see trolls too often, giving the Brew of Sharpness. A Gore Rider Regiment with Helm of the Drunken Ram. A Gore Chariot Horde with Brew of Strength. So lots of Crush 2 Thunder 2. 3 War Drums. A Crudger with just the Mournful Blade, so he has a Orc Assassin walking around. 2 Flaggers, one with Shroud of the Saint, and then a Crudger on Wing Slasher with Brew of Haste for speed 11. 16 drops, 33 unit strength. I mean, orcs are orcs. Like you're right. One way or another, the orcs are going to win. But I think Russ probably tuned up his list to be a little bit more orky. I'll go with orky.
Yeah, I mean, Orcs on Orcs is hilarious. Like, it's amazing. I mean, I love it. I don't know how it happened. It's amazing. I mean, both lists have like their little like synchronicities, where like they're doing like different things. Very cool. Like, I don't know. So the Crush with the Morphle Blade, like that guy cracks me up. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his goals are, but it's just an angry orc just walking around. It's like, hopefully he finds like a target to fight that has duelists on. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, maybe once out of like 4 or 5 games it's gotta happen, right? But yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one, man. I think I love that both lists have 3 wardrooms too. I don't know why that cracks me up. I think I kind of feel like just looking at first place, Patrick Al's list has a little bit more like punch to it. I think just based on the Morax and the Fight Wagon, it's just like a little bit more hideous. I'm going to give it to that, probably just based on that. But I mean, both lists look awesome and a lot of fun. I mean, it is. Yeah, I think it's going to come down to like how much damage Patrick's list can do on the initial charge. You got the wild charge is a big advantage in that matchup. And yeah, I mean, the trolls are kind of a weird piece to me because they don't get benefit from the drums. So that kind of sucks that they don't get the rally, but I mean, they do hit hard, and if Patrick's on a list, he's gonna die. Like everything that touches it is gonna die. So it's a very interesting list. It's 2 very different clashing orc lists. Like one kind of a little bit more defensive, one's a little bit more punchy. I'm gonna give the punchy, but it's gonna be awesome either way. So yeah, I'll best of you guys.
This is my game that would be the most fun because the 2 players playing orc. So they're going there to have fun.
Yeah, I completely agree. Either way, orcs are going to win. What are you thinking, Andy?
I don't know. That Crudger with the Mournful Blade, I'm going to have to give him the edge just because he took it. That God Speaker with everything, he's going to get slapped.
All right. Well, we have another tie then, 2 for 2. Let's see here. All right. So the next one. So we have Nate and Christopher Williams. So again, Sid Meier's Kings of War. Chris was the one that actually came in last minute, fortunately, and took that last spot. So he took the spot. Unfortunately, he's the only person out of the team, so he is riding solo. Chris, I totally believe you can win that team award with just your score alone. I believe in you. But yeah, if someone has Nate's list, I'm assuming he's running his infamous Night Stalkers.
He is. I have it here. So I was going to say it. Yeah, Nathan's got famous 2 legions of bloodworms. One with Hammer, one with Blessing of the Gods. We all know it. We all love it. We all hate it. Got Regiment of Reapers, which is new, I guess, just by default. He's got 3 troops of Phantoms, 2 regiments of Shadowhounds, one with Brew of Strength, one with Helmet Drunken Ram, 2 regiments of Soul Flayers, a Mind Screech, that is a Planar Apparition upgrade, Horror with the Vicious Melee for Infantry, Conjure Staff, Lightning Bolt, Bane Chant, and a Butcher Flesh Ripper with the Trickster's Wand for Hex. So this is 13 drops, 28 unit strength. pretty interesting list. I know I'm sure everyone in this region within 1,000 miles has played this list in some variation at some point. Uh, it's a good list, yeah, right. I mean, it's in not to knock on anything, it's an awesome list. It's done really well over time. So, yeah, I think it's well rounded. Kind of fights. It's tough. It does a lot of things really well.
Yeah, I'm surprised on the Reaper call though, because those Leapers that are awesome. I'm actually since Ray revealed his change, I will be running rebuilding my old Night Stalkers that lost me last place at Vanguard last year. So I'm slowly putting them back together. That'll be my army for next season at least. Definitely not running 2 Legions of Bloodworms though. That's just mean, Nathan. Nobody wants that. But I do have Chris's list here. He titled his list "Fashionably Late," so I could appreciate the pun here. He's running halflings, so he has a horde of stalwarts. He has upgraded with 2-hand weapons, and the Heroes of Hodenberg for elite. So Crush 1 and elite. And then he has 2 regiments of the EJ's Grenadiers, both with Relentless, one with Mace of Crushing. A horde of Forest Troll Gunners. A horde of Juggers, again with Relentless and with the Blood of the Old King.
Ooh.
2 regiments of Wild Riders. I'm sure they come equipped with their black powder weapons. I don't remember them having bows. A volley gun, a harvester, 2 Iron Beasts, one upgraded with Pride of the Shire. And let's see. Oh, and some interesting characters. He has the Engineer with the Radiance of Life, Halfling Long Rifle, Gadgets and Gizmos to make another unit affected by his and gives him the Radiance of Life. But then he has a Muster Captain and a Miniature Elrez with a Sure-Footed upgrade, probably to go along with that horde. And the Wingbane Cloak, which is I don't think I've ever seen that taken, so I'm guessing he will be hunting flying units. And then a Sorcerer with a Halfling Hotpot with 14 drops and 24 unit strength. Pretty well-rounded list. I mean, it has some shooting, has some combat. Everyone hates the EJ Grenadiers. Some defense 6. So, 2 fairly well-rounded lists, I gotta say. I personally, I probably give the edge a little bit to the Night Stalkers, only because the shooting would be slightly less effective with the amount of terrain and the stealthy. I mean, as was pointed out to me by the soon-to-be halfling players, that we have lots of Pathfinder and extra wild charge. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty big toss-up there. But I'm going to go with Nate again. He's traveling the furthest out of the region from Alabama, besides Noah, so he's going to get my vote. You want to go ahead, Ray?
I bet against halflings last time, so I'm going to bet 4 halflings this time. Sorry, Nathan. Just the way the dice rolls. And the MVP of the game is going to be the Juggers with Blood of the Old King, because Elite and Vicious wounds the Legion on 2s, so everything they hit with converts, and I think they can one-shot a Bloodworm Legion going in with 32 attacks, hitting on 3s, because they don't have to worry about terrain, and wounding on 2s with Elite and Vicious. I think that's an absolutely amazing upgrade that they gave with Blood of the Old King. And for that reason alone, I was missing the shooting disadvantage from Night Stalkers, but you're absolutely right, that'll play a part. Yeah, it's just for that. I like Blood of the Old King on the Horde of Juggers.
All right. What are you thinking, Alex?
Yeah, I'll give it to Nathan. I mean, it's hard to bet against him. I think he's just knows his list so well in the matchups. Yeah, I think what Ray said is right, but you look at things like the Phantoms and the Shadow Hounds and all the tools that Nathan has to kind of avoid that from happening. Yeah, I'm assuming he'll kind of do that. But everything Ray said is still true. I think there's definitely some potential weaknesses that could be exploited. It should be a fun game to watch, I think. But I'll go for Nathan.
All right. You, Andy?
I think if I was there, standing at tables watching games, this is probably the one that I'd want to stand next to and watch. Uh, I am gonna have to give the edge to Clevenger. Um, he he's just very good with Night Stalkers. That's pretty much what I come down to. The Phantoms and the Shadowhounds are going to prevent basically any movement shenanigans from the Halflings to happen, and the shooting is going to be inconsequential. So I think that is only going to play into Nathan's favor more. Um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. He's not going to be doing shooting, so the Radiance of Life from the Engineer isn't really going to play part. He's going to hit something and kill it, and that's probably going to be the end of it. Um, the Bloodworms can take a hit from any unit that he has, other than the Horde, I believe, and I just don't see them getting into them. So, but anything can happen. Like I said, this is the one I think is the most up in the air that we've talked about. But I'm gonna have to give it to Nathan.
All right. That's 3-1, Nathan. Let's see. So we have a Zachary Joyner versus Brian Swinson. I've never met Zach. I think he plays with the Rice Brothers. And then I know Brian quite well. And he's another one that did not tell me his team name. So we have Snackerfices versus Big Men Blastoises. I had to look up how to plural Blastoise, by the way. So yeah, Brian's team is made up of some very, very good stature gentlemen, and so they are the Big Men Blastoises. And if someone would be so kind to read Zach's list.
I'll do it. He's playing Northern Alliance, which is a faction that I love. It's a really cool faction. He's got 2 hordes of human tribesmen, got 2 regiments of ice elementals and a horde of ice elementals. He's got a regiment of Frostclaw Riders and 2 hordes of Frostclaw Riders, all with the shooting upgrades. And one of them has a scrying gem, which is going to make up for his lack of drops here, which we'll get into in a minute. After that, he has 2 Ice Queens, one with the Shroud of the Saint, the other one with Surge. Both have Surge. One has Icy Breath, the one has Shroud of the Saint. And then he has Hrim. So that's probably the smallest army here with 11 drops, 25 unit strength. Decent mixed arms, but yeah, super elite army. The Scrying Gem will help a little bit, but holy crap, that's elite.
Yeah, one of these days I'll actually take a note from Mike's book and keep track of things like, smallest unit army and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One day I'll get good. I do have Brian's list here. So he is running undead. Brian is a huge fan of vampires. We both kind of lament. We understand that undead is not vampire counts, but we both played vampire counts back in 7th and 8th edition in fantasy. So I think he's trying to rekindle that. He's taking 4 regiments of skeleton spearmen, which are always just good standard units for any wet or dry undead. A troop of wraiths, 2 regiments of Soul Reaver infantry, a regiment of Revenant Cav, a Vampire Lord with Blood Rage for the Crushing 3, and then Wings the Honey Maze, a Undead Standard Bearer, Morgoth the Faceless, Lady Alona, and then 2 vampires on Pegasus, one with a Blade of Slashing. So lots and lots of vampires. I played against this list. Oh, it's 14 drops, 24 unit strength. I will say Lady Alona is how that is an old school. They took a Hero Hammer unit straight out of fantasy and plopped it into this game. She is a beast, but she should be for 250 points for an individual. I know Brian, I love you, but I think the Northern Alliance, depending upon how he plays it out, might have it. It's just eh, I'm surprised the unit strength is pretty close as it is, but we'll see. I think it should be a pretty close game. So, but I am going to just give it to the Northern Alliance just because I think that he has a slightly bit more hammers that are a little bit more reliable.
Oh, I'm going to go with Brian's vampires, if only because she has Lady Alona in that list. And with Duelist being triple dice, that's 24 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s against just about anything else. She is absolutely amazing. But more specifically to the scenario, I think this is a scenario where the Skeleton Spearmen prove their worth. Where Alex talked about having a drop for an objective in your lines, being able to plop a Skeleton Spearman regiment on it really pays dividends in terms of you can leave them there, and there's not a lot in the Northern Alliance that can come after them anytime quickly and deal with a whole regiment of Skeleton Spearmen before one of your Vampire Lords can come and deal with it.
I can see it.
I give it to Braun as well. I think it is tricky to navigate this matchup just because there's a decent amount of shooting that you have to really be cognizant of and like can't walk right into the shooting lanes and get shot up. That's going to go very poorly. But I love the Vampires Undead Pegasus. I love seeing two of them. I think it's a super cool unit. I think they're super underrated. I wish I saw more play. So between them and Alona, like I think there's a in Morgoth you have kind of this very mobile attack squad that can kind of pick apart parts of the No Alliance list. So I think if Brian does that, he can kind of win the scenario just based on some strong scoring and staying ahead of that.
Right. Yeah, what about you, Andy?
I'm gonna have to give it to Brian as well. I think this undead list just matches very well up against the Northern Alliance list. So between Lady Alona and honestly the three vampires, the Lord with wings and the two on Pegasus, you shut down pretty much any of the shooting and maneuverability advantages that the Northern Alliance would be using. And Lady Alona, you basically have to concede half of the board to her if you have any individuals. So she's so hard to deal with. So defense 6 and life leech 2, and then she just kills whatever she touches normally.
Yeah, when I played against him a few weeks ago, he tanked a unit of half-breeds for 3 turns, and that was it. Like I eventually managed. Like she was probably one of the only things left on the board, but she still was tanking half-breeds, so that's something. Let's see. All right, so that's 3 to Brian. Good luck, buddy. We have Edward Kirby versus Connor Rice. So the Musketeers versus Team Snackerfice. I never met Edward, but he was pleasant on his emails, and I know Connor from many games. So very friendly guy. It's CJ's little brother. I'm assuming little. We both kind of look around the same age, so I don't know. But yeah. Sorry.
I have Edward's Goblins list up, and he may be nice on his emails, but there's nothing nice about this list. 6 hordes of Goblin Rabble. I don't know you, so I'm assuming you're very pleasant, but 6 hordes of Goblin Rabble. The Fleabag Regiment with the exploding bang sticks, as you will. 2 Mincer Mobs. 2 Big Rock Throwers. 3 War Trombones. 2 Sharp Stick Throwers. Wing It, the King, Grony Snark, who can do all his flying magic, 2 Bangits, and 3 Wizards, each with Lightning Bolt. 23 drops, which I'm pretty sure is the most, and 24 unit strength, which is not the most. But a very shooting heavy, but with some countercharge capability, Goblin list. Oh, and the Fleabag Riders have Brewer Paste, because if you're going to explode, I hope that they're painted red. Please tell me they're painted red. That's all I'm asking.
Oh man, I definitely do miss those old fourth and fifth edition 40k upgrades. Spikes and blades for third edition. We could throw that in there. Um, I have Connor's list here, so he's playing Abyssal Dwarves. So pretty an interesting matchup. He has two hordes of Black Souls for a nice, just steady hammer unit. Two hordes of Decimators. Two hordes of Obsidian Golems, and interestingly enough, three Angork heavy mortars. So he's using the big guns. A Greater Obsidian, so not a named one, just a normal Greater Obsidian. Two Iron Casters, one with Surge and Bane Chant, and one with Surge and Mind Fog. And then, oh, nope, there it is. And then there is, oh no, so it's an Infernox with the Ironmonger Warlord, so he has Aura Elite, Inspiring Talisman. So a okay, decent smattering of defense 6 here and there. A little bit of movement shenanigans and just a big plop down of hordes. 13 drops, 28 unit strength. Yeah, I have to give it to Goblins just right away, only because it's Goblins and they are my all-time favorite Kings of War army. I have ran them for an entire season, and I don't care what my record was. It was always fun playing Goblins.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Goblins myself as well. I think there's a lot of wasted points here in the Abyssal Dwarves, specifically against the Goblin list. Against 6 hordes of Rabble, you don't need, piercing 2 heavy mortars. You don't need Bane Chant or Crushing 3, really. So I don't think there's going to be enough attacks here from the Abyssal Dwarves to chew through all of the Rabble, just personally. And then he's just going to pick off, 1 or 2 units around with the Goblin shooting and be done with it.
Fair enough.
I'll be slightly contrarian. I'll give the point to Connor here. Mainly on, I think the Decimators can do a lot of work here. Now, obviously, there's a lot of fast units in the Goblins you have to play around and avoid, but those Decimators with the, range 14, speed 4, effective range of 18 can cause some problems for a lot of units in that army. I think, again, like they outrange the war trombos. Technically, they can do a ton of damage to the rabble. I mean, the rabble. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing to keep in mind too is that the all the unit strength of the war machines are 0 for the goblins, whereas the mortars will have unit strength 1. So in pillage, where it's a favorable setup, he can start scoring, especially with the progressive scoring. I know we haven't talked about much, but there's advantage to having those like defensive scoring war machines that your opponent can't get to. So I think there's a route there where Bissell should win. So good luck, Connor. Good luck.
Awesome. All right. So we got let's see here.
And I guess I have to vote. I will vote Goblins, just because I think the Abyssal Dwarfs will be mowed down as they cross the field of death going towards the Goblins.
Never wrong to vote against to vote with the Goblins, Ray.
Don't pain my soul.
We've all been there.
Let's see here. So we have the next match here. Brandon Levi versus Jason Britt. Again, Brandon is Russ's son. They seem very pleasant. Never met them in person, but I do know that they at least play each other quite often. Jason, the once famed Kingdom of Men player that still is one of our best players here in North Carolina when it comes to his score, at least on the Masters board. So Orchestrated Chaos versus the Big Men Blastoises. Let's see here.
So I have Jason's list up. 2-4 Shambler regiments, 3 Bray Hunter Cav regiments. I'm doing Jason's list. Greater Air Elemental, 2 Druids. 1 Druid, 1 Glade Walker Druid. The Glade Walker Druid has all the trimmings: Forest Deed, Ring of Harmony, Shroud of the Saint. So Heal 6, Surge 8, and Veil of Shadows 3. Tree Herder with Blade of Slashing and the Formation. Brewer Strength, Hammer of Measured Force, 12 drops, 19 unit strength, which may be the smallest unit strength seen to date.
Interesting. Someone like to read Brandon's list?
Yeah, I got Brandon's list here. So Brandon's also playing against Dwarves. Got a good variety. Looks like a couple of each list here, really, as you go through them. So he's got. Sorry, you got to count them here. 6 regiments of Immortal Guard, all with throwing Mastiffs, and all with the upgrade for. Was it? I think it was Nerve, right? Sorry, he was in the regen.
It gives him
Infernal Warden. Yeah, Infernal Warden gives him Crushing 1, I think.
Okay, sorry, yeah, okay. So they're always dash 17 with regen, but now they have Defense 5 and Crushing 1. So and Vicious, of course. So they're pretty good threat overall. That's obviously 6 units of those. It's a little bit askew there. And then he's got 4 regiments of Decimators, and then 2 hordes of Obsidian Golems. So here they are upgraded with their shooting attacks as well. So it's a kind of interesting army. I kind of like it in the simplicity of it. It's 36 unit strength, which is hilarious. No inspired anywhere, I guess, right? That just doesn't exist, right? So yeah, screw that, right?
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, exactly, right? Which I love. That's awesome. I like it. I like the simplicity of it. To me, I see this as like a checkerboard style list, right? You put a shooting unit, you put a unit, you put a shooting unit, put a unit, you put a shooting unit. You can kind of play that style, and it's the simplicity, pureness of it really appeals to me. I kind of like the idea of it a lot. Obviously Jason's a very cerebral player. He knows what he's doing, very tactical. The Gladewalker Druid is 230 points, which is absolutely ridiculous for a caster, but you're basically getting 2 casters in one and more, right? So it's a very strong setup. He's got Veil of Shadows, which is going to protect against shooting. It's the first list I've seen that actually has some kind of like shooting protection, I think. And based on all the lists, I'm assuming he'll do well overall in the event, so I'm sure he will do well. But I want to get to Düsseldorf just because this is a fun list. I mean, I think that 12 units, 36 unit strength. I mean, this can definitely bully a lot of lists. And if Jason doesn't get the right angles and surges and he needs, I can see him getting overwhelmed a bit by the list. But yeah, good luck.
Yeah. It is interesting. I want to give it to the Abyssal Dwarves just for that fact. No inspiring, no characters, just this is what I have, and I hope you can deal with it. So very interesting. I'm gonna give it to the Abyssal Dwarves too.
I'm gonna go with Jason. I think he is going to somehow find a way to deal with this amount of unit strength and everything scoring. Don't know how, but Jason, you have whatever period of time to figure it out.
Yeah, survive the dogs. You survive the dogs and the shooting, then you deserve to win this, Jason. Good.
I don't think your Bray Hunters help you all that much in this one, though.
I don't think so, right? Yeah. I mean, 18 range is like, you can play with that a little bit, because that's, now range is dogs, technically, and
but not by much.
Not by much, yeah. There's a little bit of wiggle room there, but then Order March comes into play, and then, this problem, so, I don't know.
You can only back up so far.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the scenario and the objective, the way it plays is like it doesn't favor Jason's style list. I'll say that. So I don't know if Jason has. I'm sure. So again, he's a smart player. I'm sure he has a plan. But yeah, like you're gonna want to play on points very quickly, right? Like that's kind of the way this works. So a list that says, hey, I have everything scoring with 1 million unit strength. I can kind of put 2 to 3 units per point and just kind of sit there and exist like that's a strong way to play the game. I like what that the store player is trying to do with that. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to the Abyssal Dwarfs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See what you
So
did, Alex? Everyone's going to be playing Abyssal Dwarf 12 units.
yeah,
that's a sauce, man.
I'm putting them together as soon
Can
as my
confirm they are
14
good.
lists are done. Um, no, just I don't know what to say. He's like, you can spend 600 points of your list on individuals if you want. I'm not.
Exactly.
All right, so that's 3-1 to the Abyssal Dwarves. So go get him, Brandon. Let's see. So then we have Tony Nelson versus Thomas Knapp. Tony lives about 5 minutes from my house, and we maybe get to play a game once a month if we're lucky, because we both have crazy work schedules. And Thomas Knapp, the prettiest man in Georgia. We have Big Man Blastoises versus the D6 Mafia.
Well, I have Tony's list here, and he has. I don't think he took the Basilians to Vanguard because he was playing his Greek list, but he has the Alohi Horde with Celestial Fury and Wine of Elvenkind, so they're nimble. 3 Palace Guard Hordes, 3 Gur Panther troops, 3 Phoenixes. I'm sensing a lot of threes here, Tony. Julius Dragon of Heaven, and 2 Ogre Palace Guards. 13 drops, 24 unit strength. So it's a good number of drops. It's a solid list. Wants to get up there and fight.
I will say if you guys are not on the North Carolina page, I don't know if he posted anywhere else. This is his like original ogre list that he made from back in the day, so it's like Revolutionary War themed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a famous army. This army, Tony took to first Masters actually ever we did Kings of War, and he won Player's Choice for army there because it was awesome. I mean, it's a fantastic list. I'm super excited for it just for that alone. I mean, this army was super cool. Obviously on the table, and the sort of Basilian interpretation I think is pretty interesting. I mean, you got the 3 Phoenixes, you got Julius. I mean, you got all the things that we know work with the list, right? So I think it's a cool list overall. I'm very, very excited to see it in action.
I think he's actually using bald eagles too for the phoenixes. If I remember.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see. I do have Thomas's list here. He is running Varangur, first Varangur player that I could recall and on the tournament. So he has a infantry regiment of Draugr, 3 mounted sun regiments, 1 with Blade of Slashing, 1 with Sir Jesse's Boots, 1 with Mace of Crushing, but no special upgrades, so no stealthy or brutal. 2 troops of Tundra Wolves, the Fallen, 2 Lords on Chimera, 1 with the Brew of Sharpness to hit on 2s. That's going to be fun. And then the Mammoth Steppe Horse Raiders. So it's going to be, is it 3 regiments? 2 regiments of the Steppe Horse Cavalry, and then a hero on Cav giving out. I think it comes equipped.
Hey.
Yeah, and then so 12 units, 21 unit strength.
And Andy, or excuse me, Damon was pulling up the driveway. I got chatting with him. So John won't be there Sunday.
Okay.
I think you're commenting there. Oh.
You know, who will? I mean, right now for sure it's just me and
We got you, Andy.
Haven't really heard
Yeah, well, I'll go over here.
your dad was actually one
Yeah,
of the-
I think that I don't know that formation. I've seen people try to take it for Varangur. I don't
Oh, he
see anyone
was?
use it like well.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I mean, even the two of us, with
I don't-
somebody running,
I like Thomas. He's an awesome dude. But I don't know. I think the ogres definitely have it on this one.
Deal with
At least for the paint job alone, right?
whatever it was you were going to run, and there's only 2 people there. You know, out of the entire.
Absolutely. The
Hey,
paint job that Tony
hey,
has
can I call
is
you
great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just call me back.
But I don't know that Lord and Chimera through of sharpness, like hitting on twos, wounding on twos, hitting on twos with elite means you're practically getting 10 hits. Like that is an evil upgrade.
Definitely. Yeah, sharpness is hilarious on those units. I agree. But I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, you can. It's 2 dragons and they can do a lot of damage, but I don't know. Like that's like there's a couple interesting choices in the Vanguard list. Like I said, the Mounted Suns not having upgrades is interesting. The Thunderwolves in red in troops is kind of rare too. I mean, it's an interesting choice. I mean, there's definitely enough hitting power here to do well here. Again, I gotta vote for America. Gotta go Tony. So
I'll go for the Berenger because they're from the north, and you can go for Tony. But tell Tony my heart's with him. But I think this is not the matchup he wanted to see because this is speed and power on Berenger.
I can feel that. I don't know if Andy is. He may have jumped into another meeting. So Andy, I did mute you, but if you want to unmute
he's
yourself.
back there.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
I've actually.
Do I need to unmute you? Is that what I did?
Unmute me. Yep.
No, everyone's
Is that
unmuted.
better? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a lot of play into a very similar Basilian list. So a buddy of mine here in town, Jeff Bodine, basically who I play against most games, he was having trouble with ogres after the clash changes after Masters got run over by ogres, and this is almost his exact list. So I've got a lot of respect for it. The Alohi with the Wine of Elvenkind is pretty tricky to deal with sometimes. But the fact that all of the ogres are crush 2, defense 5, it's like they're all siege breakers except defense 5, and not slow. But all of the healing that you get from the phoenixes, it adds up. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers took it on the chin, and then the ogres came in and cleaned up, and then whatever is left gets picked off by Phoenix shooting. I really like this Basilians list. That being said, I know Thomas isn't a bad player. He's got some scary stuff here, like you guys were pointing out the Brewer sharpness on the Lord of Chimera. But I just don't think the speed is of the Mounted Suns is going to play a factor in this role at all because of the basically no shooting other than I guess he does have some shooting with the horse raiders, the cav regiments. So I don't know. We'll have to see how the Panthers do with screens. But I'm gonna have to give it to the Basilians list.
All right. There you go, Tony. 3-1. Good luck, guys. And then our very last game, which is the other challenge that really did not instigate or anything.
I would never do that.
Yeah, no. What kind of friend would you be?
Yep.
So we have Wes William Peak versus Drew Gaddy. So Sid Meier's Kings of War versus D6 Mafia. Someone be so kind to read Wes's list.
Yeah, sure. I have her here. Yeah, Berenger. I'll do it right here. I got it. So he's got it's a little different list, I think. He's got 3 troops of Reavers, which are super interesting. I mean, don't really see those very often, but they have 20 attacks for a troop, which is kind of cool. Anyways, he's got 2 regiments of tribesmen with the Hearthguard upgrade, so they are just monsters. So he's got 2 regiments of Mounted Suns. He did upgrade them with Brutal, I believe. Yep, Brutal. One's got J-Boots, one's got Staying Stone. Got Horse Raiders with Thorn Axes, just a regiment of those. 2 regiments of Thunderwolves. 2 Lords on foot, I believe. and Magnilled. So it's kind of a slower version of the other Vanger list. So like it kind of hits just as hard, just like a little bit slower. Arguably hits harder, I guess, if you think about it. Yeah, Reaver's troops are definitely interesting. They have 20 attacks, but I mean the big weakness is obviously the defense 3 and they hit on 4, so they're obviously going to have trouble with like terrain and things like that. So that's his list.
Gotcha. Well, I got Drew's here. I've played against Drew's list, and I will say you would think Berenger versus a Kingdoms of Men Spear Phalanx spam would be bad, but I think those Reavers will play a pretty pivotal role because Drew is running 5 hordes of Spear Phalanx with pikes. Each one with an item, except for the last one. So one has Brew of Strength, one has Brew of Sharpness, one has Hammer of Measured Force, and the other one has Sir Jesse's Boots. Only one unit of Beast Cav with Fly, Vicious, and Wine of Elvenkind upgrade to give them Nimble. 3 Balliste, a Army Standard Bearer with the Loot, a Wizard with Bane Chant, and then 3 Generals on Wing Beast for 14 drops, 26 unit strength. This is Drew's awesome list. I don't know if you all ever seen it, but it's like he looks like an old Native American versus Cowboys like fort that he kind of put together. And then the guys on it. It's really cool. But I don't know. I think those Reavers will really could pull these infantry phalanxes apart because they're only defense 4. I mean, yeah, they have Ensnare, but I think he has the number of attacks to kind of burn through them. I'm going to go with Wes on this one.
I'm going to go with Drew. As much as you get 20 attacks, you're hitting on 5, 6 hits. You lose your Thunderous, so you're crushing 1, 4 wounds. Even if all 3 go into a horde, I think the horde survives. I wish this Varangur list had the dragon that had the hitting on 2s with elite instead of the heroes. This one's much more foot centric without the speed 10, and I think Drew's Beast Cav flying at speed 10 with Nimble is going to cause fits. So that's my prediction.
I guess it's true as well. I think I agree. The Reavers are cool, and you know, this is like if they want to see something, they probably want to see something like Phalanx, where they can like team up a couple units on them and get in there. I mean, they do have stealthy aura on the Lord, so at least they can get a little bit of shooting protection, and their dash nerve. So as long as they don't get too much damage sustained, they can kind of survive until it just gets attacked. Yeah, I think it's just an interesting. It'd be an interesting game. I think, but I think Drew's list is a little bit more well-rounded, just with the flying threats and the shooting and the blocks that kind of nerve. So his list I think plays all phases a little better. For that reason, I'll give it to Drew.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give it to Wes just because I instigated this in the hopes that Wes could redeem himself for the last time they played together. For those that don't remember, Drew called out Wes and said some mean things, calling him out, and then beat the snot out of him. Wes needs some payback, so I'm going to be rooting for you, Wes. I know the shooting's going to be mitigated a little bit because he's got a lot of these. I think every unit he has is a barbarian, other than the Tundra Wolves. So he's got or a brutal +1 barbarian or a stealthy barbarian. So he's going to be brutal 2 and stealthy with his units here. And I think that's going to play a factor.
I have a question, and this is something I should probably know as the TO here. Ray, you said that he would lose Thunderous, but he's not cavalry on those Reavers.
you automatically lose your Thunderous Charge against Phalanx, any amount of Thunderous Charge. So if you're Thunderous Charge 4 and you're hitting Phalanx, it gets stripped to 0. Doesn't matter if you're infantry, large infantry, cav, or anything.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I learn something new every day.
Yeah, he just doesn't get the
Yeah.
minus for the Phalanx. He does get the minus for the ensnare to hit, so he's not gonna
Okay.
be hitting on 6s, but he will be only crush 1 against them.
So the ensnare would bring him to 5s, but the cavalry would be hitting him on 5s as well. So
Right.
if the Mountain Suns hit the pikes, you go down to 5 with your crushing 1. So either way, that's not what those elements want to see.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I can see it now.
Yeah,
All right,
Spear Link's very good unit.
Let's see here. Okay. Well, that is all the matches. I don't know prediction wise. Again, I'm not nearly as good as my other TOs around me when it comes to calling out like dark horses and things like that. I honestly, if I have any call, I hope that the Abyssal Dwarf list with no inspiring. I hope that you get first, bud, because that alone, that is the biggest balls in the room, in my opinion.
I hope orcs win. That's it. That's my hope. That's what I want.
It might get a draw. It might not come true, actually. So, we said 100 earlier. And that's technically not true anymore, think about it.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
So Chavez, you gonna run 12 units and 36 unit strength Abyssal Dwarves at Masters?
I'd love to. That sounds awesome. My team would be pissed as hell, but yeah, it'd be great.
Nice. Well, guys, again, I really do appreciate your time. Whenever I see you in person, drinks are on me. Thank you for your clever stuff. I have kept track of who called what, so I will figure out a small door prize to whoever actually ends up getting that. But thank you all again, and to all of everybody that watched. This will be up on the channel. The map is on there. You guys have your opponents, and yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for hosting. Andy, appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Ray, good to see you again as always. Yeah.
As always, Alex.
Okay. Have a
I
good night, guys.
finished mine.
I did too, actually. I'll get a refill here.
We'll see you guys later.
Talk to you guys later. See you.